Okay, so what I'm going to do now, guys, I could leave this door attached to the vehicle and fix this harness in place, most likely. However, it's real easy to disconnect this door. As you can see, the wires that are coming apart. I unplugged the connector from the door. You just simply push down and pull it out. Next, I'm going to just take and remove this retaining bolt. And then the upper hinge has 2 bolts that go to the door on the top and 2 bolts on the bottom hinge as well. And then you can just take and remove the door from the vehicle and give yourself some more access. 12mm, guys. Should have a second hand while doing this. Try not to get in your way. This black cover was already popped off. I'm gonna try to fold this back as much as I can. I'm gonna take and cut that zip tie shortly. Try to see what's going on. Looks like it's all packed with grease of some sort, but hey, check out the wire that's out of its home. This so happens to be the blue with yellow tracer. I got another one here. This a blue. Such a mess. Hopefully it's just an easy fix. It's not like they're corroded. So maybe it's just them 3 wires, and I could look at the opposing side of the plug and determine where these 3 wires go that are disconnected. Now these ones might not have been disconnected totally. They might have been just touching. However, when I pulled this all back, they may have came the rest of the way out. However, I'm going to take and clean this up with some contact cleaner. Get this grease out of there and see what kind of retainers are holding them clips in. I apologize for not covering the inspection process a little deeper. However, once I started cleaning and inspecting each conductor, I found that there was multiple, probably close to half of the conductors were coming loose of their connections. So we're going to have to take a different route on repairing this plug. I was going to simply remove each terminal and resolder onto its connection, but it's just going to be too much of a timely process. Okay, so here's the dealio. I went down to the local salvage yard. It's a U-pull, and I cannot find a Civic this year. What I did find was a newer one, but it used a complete harness that went into the door like you normally see. This one had a plug, which made it convenient if you want to remove the door, say on an assembly line or something, whatnot. Sure, it makes it really convenient, but this is the issue you might have. So on other makes and models, they just simply run a whole harness into the door, and you gotta take and you gotta unplug everything and fish it out when you pull the door off. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do, since I couldn't find one with that style plug, the newer Civic that I found used a complete harness like I was explaining, and it had this complete new grommet. Since we're not using the plug, we're going to have to try to seal the holes. However, the holes on that door and body are square. These ones are round. They still fit real good. I'll give you an example when I go to install it. So in other words, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the plug off of that harness where it went through to the door, to the body. And come over here. As you can see, it keeps getting worse. I tried cleaning this up. However, if I did find a plug at the yard, I was going to try to save this. I mean, just moving these wires, I should disconnect the battery, but you bend it and the wires are just coming unplugged from all different locations. So what I'm going to do is disconnect the battery, cut this plug off, and I'm just going to solder all the connections together with the new grommet. So take and fold everything over. As you can see with this situation we have going on, the wires are just falling out of this plug. What I was hoping to do is find a plug and just solder a new, just cut everything off here and just solder it together. Evidently, I couldn't find one. So this is where we're at. Makes me almost wonder if I should pull. Yeah, so much, they're all coming out. I'd have to redo every wire, as you can see. That's just too much for the time I got. Oh no, Mr. Bill. What did you do? Now we're committed. This one's coming off. Okay guys, so this is what I'm coming up with so far. As you can see, this is the original grommet from the vehicle, and it's real flimsy. It's not solid like this with a perimeter that goes in around the metal and seals it. And this top one's too big for the body. As you can see, this one's square. This one down here is square as well, but this one actually fits the door pretty well. So what I'm going to do, I want to, a weatherproof seal. I took and noticed there was tape around this upper perimeter down low here. When I took that tape off, I noticed that it's actually two pieces, which I was kind of shocked. But maybe there's different options for different doors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and cut this right around the same length and see if it fits inside, and then I'll tape and glue it. So, well, I cut it right before, right around here. Okay. If I take that, pretty much put it together, I could just tape it the way it was. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of glue underneath this portion. And I tell you what, you can make O-rings like this, guys. As long as you got some good super glue, like this is Loctite 414, you could take an O-ring. Right here's a good example. Go on there like that, and put these two together. We make O-rings that work like this. You get this O-ring in a stock that comes in a roll, and make your own O-rings. Pretty much cut them to length and size. I put a little too much glue on this, but you hold it until it's dry. And I'll tell you what, this one I didn't do 100% straight, but as you can see, it's pretty amazing on how much that holds up. On smaller O-rings, you could actually take and pull it and stretch it, and it'll break in a different spot. So let's do it. While that glue is on there, I'm going to actually tape it. You can see it held up pretty good. It's not going to go nowhere. And you want to make sure it's in the right location before you glue it. And just make sure it's weather tight. Pretty much do what they did. Have some tape around it. Plus, in addition, if that glue comes loose, going to be our new seal. In order to feed it through this, if I try to just shove it through, I'm just going to lose all the wire. So I'm just going to try to twist this up pretty tight and take a little electrical tape. It's just temporary. Let's see if I can maintain that. So let's see if I could fish this new one through. Oh, it's not the easiest thing, guys, but imagine trying to do this with the door on. Okay, I got it sealed. I got the grommet installed on the body. So now, of course, we're left with this one. I want to try to maybe tuck this around. Get it to roll over for now. That way we have plenty of wire here to work with. I'll just take it, pull it apart like so. That's what we're left with. And simply what I'm going to do is start the tedious task of soldering and shrink wrapping all these wires together. Wow. Yeah, we're going to be soldering for a while, guys. Okay, once again, due to the lack of time and a battery that keeps going dead on the camcorder, I failed to cover the soldering and shrink wrapping of each individual wire. I apologize for that, but I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of another job I performed this on, and you could I'll leave a link in the description. You can check that out anytime you like. I'm going to be using a heat gun to shrink the heat tubing to shrink wrap. A couple miscellaneous wire strippers. It's just a matter of preference, whatever ones you want to use. A pair of cutting pliers, aka dikes, some heat shrink tubing for the gauge wire you're going to use. You want to use the correct heat shrink. Some rosin core solder, and of course a soldering gun. You're going to want to take and strip your wires. I know this is probably right around a 14 gauge or so. I usually strip them back about a quarter to a half inch. Once you got them all stripped, I'm going to take your shrink tubing and cut it into lengths. I got 4 pieces cut here already, a little over an inch. Just want to make sure you cut them so it goes past each end of your joint a little ways. That's going to take the place of the insulation, and this works real well. It's the recommended method. It's a lot better than using electrical tape and other techniques. What I do, especially if I don't have something to hold it, I'll take and I'll cross them, just like that. Take and pull each end, twist them together, and you're left with something that looks like that. I don't know if you can see that. Zoom in a little. Get the soldering gun up underneath there, nice and hot. Give it a couple seconds. You know when it's hot enough. Okay, there it goes. Let it suck it in, down in between it. It's a beautiful joint. Always look to make sure I don't have any pointy spots. It might stick through the insulation. Here I do, I'll just take and knock them down a little bit. Now you're going to want to take your heat shrink tubing, slide it up over your solder joints. Okay. I'm going to try to keep an even amount on each side. You can use a cigarette lighter on this too. Right down that shrink wrap. You see you mold that wire nice. As you can see, I neatly soldered and heat shrank each individual wire, and then I covered it with electrical tape, and then the loom will cover that as well. And all these solder joints are going to be on the inside of the door. It actually worked out pretty well. It's not going to be in the flex area. Okay, we're making progress. I got the door rehung. I got the wire harness all routed back in. The clips in place. I had one broken clip I got to fix. Everything's hooked back up. Just want to give you a shot how this landed. Let me show you how that grommet went in there pretty well. Sealed on the door. You see it's all weather tight. I gotta fix that weather strip. That's pretty straightforward. You take in one side starter, pull up, just like so. I'll do that all the way around the perimeter where I popped it apart. But I guess it's a moment of truth. So let me get some switches out before I install the door panel. I'll take and put the switches on temporarily and make sure it works. Okay, hopefully you're in the frame. I try to set you up so you can see both windows. Make sure this works. I just hooked the battery back up. Didn't see no smoke. Didn't hear any fuses pop. So I'm just going to plug all this stuff in temporarily. I want to test everything, so this here has the door lock actuator switch on it. Alright, let's turn the key on. Alright, moment of truth. That one worked. There it goes. I think you got it, guys. Okay, all four. Wow, everything works. That's amazing. Just gonna jump over to the other side and make sure that switch works now. Wow. It's amazing, guys, and we didn't even have to throw parts at it. How's that possible? Oh yeah. Good job, guys.